Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're at question number 186. The point of these videos, the goal of these videos really is to help you get ready for your DevOps and SRE interviews. Hopefully, by watching these videos and learning the content, but before you go into an interview, you will be prepared. You will be you will feel confident that you've covered as much as as much as you could have possibly covered material wise in terms of width and depth of different topics. That's my goal. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. This is nothing for you, but it actually makes a huge difference in my channel. So I would really appreciate if you did do that. As you know from all my other videos, or you may know that I did some research on LinkedIn job description based on 35 job descriptions, and I've counted up all the keywords and how many times they came up. Based on that, these are the 15 topics that you should be focusing on when you're studying for DevOps and SRE interviews. The ones at the top are more important than the ones at the bottom, but they're also important, so they're not equally important. So sure, spend a lot more time on the first five or six, but don't forget to spend at least some time on the bottom eight or nine topics that are here in the screen. So today we're at number 11, Kubernetes. I'm not sure why the data came out for Kubernetes at number 11. Kubernetes is definitely one of the hot topics for DevOps and SRE interviews because it is widely used in any greenfield DevOps projects. So it really should be giving a Kubernetes a lot more important than the data shows, based on my intuition and my experience. Okay, question today is: tell me about the hardest production Kubernetes issues that you have solved or faced. Here, the interview is looking for the depth of your knowledge in terms of real life experience, and if you don't have a whole lot, then you should actually at least have some answer ready for this based on your experience, however little or much that might be. So yeah, that's what the interview is looking for. Before I move on, just a quick reminder: Floyd Spencer is my career advisor. He is very passionate about helping people. He gives out 1 hour free session to anybody who's in the job market, and I'm not financially affiliated with him, so this is not an ad. Okay, so the answer could be anything. Really, it's really based on what your experience is, right? And if you don't have and if you don't have a whole lot of experience, then like I mentioned before, you should talk about whatever experience you do have. Now, this is the hypothetical scenario I made up, just so you know, right? So just to give you one example. So let's say there are a number of microservices. Let's say there are 10 microservices, and one of them gets a new version, and all of a sudden the HPA for these pods are set. Let's say the HPA, I don't know what, I forgot what HPA stands for. Basically, it's the scaling, right? It's using up a lot more resources than it can and then it is allowed to. So it's actually keeps crashing because it doesn't have enough resources to run the new version for whatever reason, right? This causes a cascading failure onto the pods that depends on it. So there are other services that depends on this particular service, and those are now crashing because this is crashing. So how do you go about fixing this problem? So first of all, if you already know that the HPA settings are wrong for this particular service or pod, you should obviously fix that, either by fixing the code. Maybe the code is buggy, or if you realize this new version just takes more resources, then you should up the resource limits for that. But there is this concept of it called circuit breakers, right? That is a very common concept in microservices like Kubernetes, like the Kubernetes platform where microservices run. What happens is you want to protect your service that you wrote from a service that you consume that somebody else wrote. So if you see that the services that are coming into consuming your service, right, and it's taking up a lot more resources, you should have a way within your service to cut it off. So to throttle on your side how many requests you're going to actually take from this service that consumes your service. That's called a circuit breaker. Because you cannot control how many requests the other service is going to give to your service, you should have circuit breakers built into your service so that you don't crash just because somebody is sending you too many requests, right? So that's the concept of a circuit breaker. They should already know. It's a very common concept in Kubernetes application building. So you should know about that. Okay, and if you have any particular specific question, please find me on LinkedIn. I will do my best to answer your question as time permits, or you can just leave me a comment below. And I will see you in the next video.